What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and man, you guys know how hard it is for me to make these videos, okay? When I gotta down talk my favorite franchise, Star Wars, when I gotta come hard against Star Wars because they just dropping the ball left, right, and center. Lucasfilm has just lost their ever-loving minds. You guys know how hard these videos are for me to do. All right, y'all have no clue, okay? You don't know how much I love Star Wars and how much I want just Star Wars just to be good, okay? I'm not even asking for great anymore, okay? That's probably asking for too much. Can you just be good again, all right? And as you can see by this headline, apparently not. The Mandalorian Season 3 reportedly bleeding viewers lost half its audience in just 4 episodes. And I understand why. Because this thing is absolute ass at this point. This entire season, okay, with the exception of the one episode, episode 2, which was decent, all right, not great by any stretch of the imagination, not even good, just a decent, nice little Star Wars episode that should be the baseline for what Star Wars is, to be quite honest with you. Aside from that, the other 3 episodes have been boring, have been confusing, and have been, what the hell is going on here, okay? Who wrote this stuff? And that's where we're at right now. And listen, don't think that I'm some kind of a Star Wars hater, okay? I'm not, all right? I'm not a Star Wars hater. I love this franchise, okay? And that's the reason why I am coming hard against this franchise, because I love it, all right? Like I said, it's the hill I will die on. And I'm actually going this year thanks to a confluence of events and awesome friends and family who put it together for me. I'm actually going to Celebration, okay? I'm going to be in London, all right? My first international trip for my 50th birthday. I'm actually going to be out there in London, and I'm going to get the chance to go to Star Wars Celebration. You know, I just wish I was going to Celebration to really celebrate and enjoy Star Wars instead of just to be sitting there kind of like, all right, what's going to happen, you know? So I'll be recording it from the floor. You know, I got a Jedi Master badge. I mean, they hooked it up, you know? So, yeah, this is going to be an awesome trip for me, but, you know, hopefully I just pray, man, that, you know, we hear the, hey, Kathleen Kennedy is retiring. This is her final year. This is her swan song. You get the guys get say that'll be the greatest Star Wars Celebration birthday present that they could possibly give me. Let me tell you that. It's like this last episode, episode 4, is just like complete unintelligible nonsense. Like, what the heck was going on here? All right. It's almost like a child wrote this episode. You know, and I want to believe that Jon Favreau has more going on for this series than just, you know, Baby Yoda gags, okay? Because that's what this thing is honestly going to be. You know, it's just Baby Yoda doing little backflips over people and looking cute and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I want to believe he got more, but it's starting to look like he doesn't, right? And this crazy thing is you get Andor, right? You get an Andor type show, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, hold up, time out. You guys know how to make a good series, okay? You just did it, all right? You know how to make a good Star Wars show. So what's happening here? You know, why is Mandalorian so bad this year? What's the deal, all right? I mean, it's just crazy. But let's go ahead and check out this particular article. This is on Fandom Wire. Despite the show only being meant to be a Disney Plus web series, the release of Mandalorian was just the start of a cultural phenomenon that no one from Lucasfilm or Disney could have imagined, bringing out one of the biggest numbers in viewership for the OTT platform. With the release of the first season, the show has continuously and consistently maintained its image as one of the best contributions to the Star Wars cinematic universe. Yeah, up until this year it had. And with the release of the 3rd season of the series, the opening numbers proved again that the show deserves the top spot amongst the plethora of shows available on Disney Plus. But it seems like the subsequent episodes that the latest season has to offer might be lacking something that the previous seasons had, as the viewership of the show has seen a fall in the number of viewers who are declining at a rapid rate. Yeah, and I can tell you exactly what it's lacking, okay? It's lacking a coherent story, all right? This thing is like all over the bloody place, and I don't understand why. There's like literally no reason for it to be, all right? Remember, what did I say the problem was with Star Wars? And I'll go ahead and link a video above if you didn't see that. But the problem with Star Wars is not Star Wars fatigue, it's bad Star Wars fatigue, okay? People are tired of bad Star Wars, all right? And that's what we have here in The Mandalorian. You see, we have this entire storyline of Dr. Pershing, okay? And Dr. Pershing, to me, feels like he was shoehorned into this particular season, all right? I know he's been around since the very beginning, all right? He was there in episode, 2 or 3 or whatever of the first season, okay? So I know the character has been here, all right? But it doesn't feel like he belongs here now, all right? This particular season feels like the story they should be telling is the retaking of Mandalore, okay? That's what the story we're telling for season 3, all right? We've gotten Baby Yoda out of the way. Everybody's saying the same thing. Baby Yoda don't belong here no more, okay? He needs to be off with Luke training to be a Jedi, All right, why did you bring him back? Okay, and a lot of people say, well, they brought Baby Yoda back because they needed to sell toys, and you got to put Baby Yoda in the Mandalorian so you can sell toys. Whatever the case may be, he doesn't belong here, right? And neither does this guy. All right, this guy doesn't belong here either. I know there is the whole cloning subplot. All right, Moff Gideon trying to clone him, and it's obvious that's leading to Snoke or Palpatine or somebody else. You know, it's leading towards that sequel trilogy nonsense, okay? We get that, all right? But it still doesn't belong in this particular series, all right? My theory is that at some point in time, they were going to continue this subplot, but they were going to continue it somewhere else, okay? Notice this guy was hanging out on Coruscant. He's dealing with the New Republic and how the New Republic gets down, which is kind of like an empire or whatever, in my opinion. It's kind of like the empire, all right? So you're seeing like all of these things going on. It feels like, you know, what was happening with Moff Gideon, you know, the New Republic would definitely be against that. And you know what's happening with this guy. Seems like it should be on a show called, oh, I don't know, The Rangers of the New Republic. You know, like I would have put it in a show like that. But because Gina Carano / Cara Dune is no longer a part of the Star Wars family, okay, well, what are we going to do with this subplot? You know, what are we going to do with this plot? We can't put it in a show called The Rangers of the New Republic because that show no longer exists. Gina Carano was supposed to be the headliner. So I think what they ended up doing is Favreau just said, well, let's just throw it back into the Mandalorian, all right? Where it absolutely doesn't belong. We'll drag Grogu back in here as well. So now we got all of this muckety-muck back in here as we're trying to retake Mandalore, which is, again, should be the focal point of this particular series or this season of the series. That should be the focal point, all right? Not this dude, not Baby Yoda, none of this stuff. This stuff doesn't belong here anymore. And I believe I read it somewhere. I'm not sure where I read it, but that's what Jon Favreau was intending to do, is using Mandalorian as kind of the, you know, base. And then he was just going to spin off all this stuff, right? Like you had Ahsoka show up. All right, boom, we got the Ahsoka show. That's happening. All right. And then we brought Boba Fett back in. Okay, bam, we're going to do a Boba Fett show, and that's going to be a thing. All right. And then now we have Gina Carano. She's going to be a part of the Rangers of the New Republic. And then we're going to spin that off into something. And it is going to be this big Mandalorian universe. And then they're going to tie all of these things back in, and Thrawn's the big bad or whatever. I don't know. Okay, but that's what I heard, and it makes sense when you say, hey, okay, we got the New Republic. This should be somewhere else, but it's not, and it's screwing up season 3 of The Mandalorian. The viewership of The Mandalorian is falling rapidly. It sure the hell is. Basically, this paragraph is just saying, yeah, you know, Mando got off to a good start. You know, you had a big, you know, patiently waiting audience members, you know, to get to that first episode. Did 1.6 million viewers in the season premiere. All right. Disney Plus had to be happy with that. You know, but then as time goes on, you know, this thing is getting worse. So here's what they're measuring. They're measuring it based on IMDb ratings. This is what they're saying is how this thing is dropping. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here's the numbers they're talking about, and as you can see, chapter 17, this is basically episode 1 of the season, you know, 13,000 reviews, okay? And then it dropped down about 2,000 reviews to 11,000, right? And then it dropped maybe about another 1,000 or so to 10,000. And then the biggest drop, it dropped 4,000, okay? So every single week, we're getting less and less people reviewing this show. And as you can see, it says the real shocker was the release of the 4th episode of the 3rd season, where the number of reviews dropped to 6,236 with a healthy rating of 8.0. Yeah, a lot of people rated this episode highly. I mean, it's not the worst episode of the season. That definitely belongs to episode 3. But at the same time, man, it's like none of these episodes are really that good. You know, like, honestly, I think these guys are being very generous, giving things like a 8 and a 7. Like, I would say this first episode, man, this is more like a 6, you know? This one is like maybe a 7, maybe a 7. This is like a 5, you know what I'm saying? And this one maybe is like a 5.5 or a 6 itself, okay? These are not good episodes, none of them. This is an alarming situation for the series, as the drop from the 1st episode to the 4th episode during the run of the 3rd season has been a whopping 60% in the number of reviewers. This points to the problem of people dropping the series during its run. While it can also be labeled as an instant where the audience may want to catch up to the series on the weekend, it still seems a lot to take in, especially when the numbers have fallen drastically just over the first 4 episodes of the latest season. So it says, well, what is The Mandalorian doing wrong? It says here, the drop in viewers might be related to the lack of explosive content to spice things up. While the 2nd and 3rd episodes might have provided the fans with more in-depth view of the history and the lore of the Mandalorians, the interest of the simultaneous viewers might have swayed too much. Thankfully, the 4th episode has brought in an action-packed change of pace for the series. Listen, I don't think this thing was, it's definitely action-packed, all right? but it was convoluted as hell. The story, the actual story that's being told inside that episode was just like nonsense, okay? Honestly, I can't even go into the number of stupid things that happened in this episode. I could, but it would take me like about 35 minutes to discuss how inane and dumb a lot of this stuff is. And it's hard to believe that Jon Favreau actually wrote this stuff, but nevertheless, that's where we are. I don't know how Star Wars fixes this one, okay? I don't know if they can fix this, the second half of the season is going to be, oh, it's going to be amazing. It's just going to blow everybody's socks off and just rehabilitate this thing. There's always been shaky episodes of The Mandalorian. Like, that much is absolutely true, all right? There were shaky episodes in the first season. There were shaky episodes definitely in the second season, all right? But this third season, it just seems like none of this stuff is working, all right? And again, I don't know what the through line is. I don't know what the end goal is, but it doesn't seem like whatever it was thought out clearly in mind for this particular season. Like I said, it feels like all of this stuff belongs somewhere else, and we should just be focusing on the retaking of Mandalore with the Mandalorian. That's what everybody wanted. That's what everybody expected. That's what it should be, all right? And I think that they had streamlined this particular, storyline down to just that, instead of throwing all this other crap in, it probably would have been a lot better. But anyway, folks, what do you think about this situation? I hate doing these videos because I got to down talk something that I love or I want to love with all my heart. But unfortunately, just the way Star Wars is right now, it's just utter trash, okay? There's no two ways around it, all right? And, they need to go back, like I said, let Tony Gilroy make whatever it is that he wants to make. Get all of these other cats out of the way, okay? Let him show everybody how it should be done, That's where I'm at right now with it. But go ahead, jump down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Thanks for watching. See you next time.